Underneath a sky painted a dull grey, a construction site buzzed with life. It was a symphony of industry, a cacophony of machine roars and metal clanks, punctuated by the rhythmic tap of hammers. The air was heavy with the scent of damp earth, a smell as old as time, mingled with the sharp tang of hot metal and the faint underlying sweetness of fresh-cut timber. Amidst the orchestrated chaos, a worker, his face smeared with sweat and grime, paused his labor. His shovel had struck something hard and unyielding beneath the yielding soil. As he scraped away the earth, the sight that greeted him caused his blood to run cold. A set of human bones, ancient and brittle, lay exposed to the harsh light of day for the first time in centuries. An eerie hush fell over the site. The machinery stuttered and stilled, the sounds of industry replaced by the pounding of hearts and the rustle of unease. The workers gathered around, their faces ghostly under the stark shadow of their discovery. The bones, silent witnesses of a forgotten era, lay in a grim tableau, infusing the air with a chilling sense of dread. The once busy site became a still tableau of disbelief. Word of their find spread like wildfire, a spark that ignited a flame of fear and uncertainty. They had disturbed a resting place of the dead, an ancient cemetery hidden beneath the layers of time and progress. The realization hung heavy over them, a dark cloud blotting out the mundane concerns of their everyday lives. The tension among the crew was palpable. Laughter and banter, once the soundtrack of their work, were replaced by whispers and worried glances. The thrill of discovery was quickly overshadowed by a prickling sense of unease, a feeling that they had unwittingly awakened something that should have been left to slumber in the depths of the earth. Little did they know they had just unearthed a chilling secret buried for centuries. As the sun set, casting long shadows over the construction site, an air of dread lingered. The once lively hum of machinery and the harmonious clatter of construction tools gave way to an unsettling silence. The towering cranes stood still, their steel arms reaching out into the empty air, motionless. Unseen forces began to toy with the pulse of the site. Equipment, once reliable, started to malfunction in the most peculiar ways. Generators sputtered and died without reason, power tools ceased to function and lights flickered, casting the site in an eerie and intermittent gloom. But it wasn't just the mechanical anomalies that gnawed at the crew's nerves. An inexplicable chill seemed to permeate the air, a cold that seeped into their bones, making the men shiver despite the warm autumn weather. It was as if the very air they breathed was tainted with an ancient sorrow, a mournful lament that hung heavily in the atmosphere. The men, hardened by years of manual labor and unfazed by the usual challenges of their work, began to report a sensation of being watched, an oppressive feeling of unseen eyes scrutinizing their every move, a presence that seemed to hover just over their shoulders. Laughter and banter, once a staple among the crew, was replaced by hushed whispers and nervous glances. At first, these incidents were dismissed as mere coincidences, the product of overworked minds and tired bodies. But as the strange occurrences continued, the dismissals turned into apprehension, and the apprehension into an undeniable fear. A fear that was not just rooted in the inexplicable happenings, but in the growing realization that they might have disturbed something that should have been left undisturbed. As the last rays of the sun disappeared over the horizon, the construction site, once a symbol of progress and human ingenuity, was transformed into a stage for the unseen. The once bustling site now stood silent, its eerie stillness echoing the crew's unspoken fears. The moon hung low in the sky, a silent witness to the terror that was about to unfold. As the clock struck midnight, an unearthly chill swept through the construction site. The stillness of the night was shattered by the resonating echoes of ethereal whispers, growing louder and more ominous. In that eerie calm, the spirits of the forgotten rose, their spectral forms glowing in the pale moonlight. A sense of dread descended upon the crew, their hearts pounding in their chests like a war drum. Their eyes, wide with terror, watched the vengeful spirits rise from their disturbed slumber. Each spectre a chilling embodiment of wrath and sorrow, their faces etched with the pain of centuries gone by. They were the forgotten, and they had been awoken. The air was thick with fear and desperation as the crew realized the gravity of their transgressions. Their reality had morphed into a living nightmare, their dreams of progress replaced with the primal instinct to survive. The spirits, their wrath as palpable as the chill in the air, moved with a purpose. Their target was clear, the ones who had dared to disrupt their eternal rest. The men, once confident and brash, were now reduced to trembling shadows, their bravado swallowed by the sheer terror that gripped them. One by one, the spirits advanced, their ethereal forms flickering like will-o'-the-wisps in the night. The men could only watch, frozen in fear, their pleas for mercy swallowed by the screeching of the spirits. The spirits were relentless, their vengeance a storm that swept through the construction site, leaving no stone unturned. In their quest for progress, they had awoken an ancient horror, a price too steep for any man to pay. As they stood on the precipice of their doom, they couldn't help but wonder, was it worth it? The answer echoed in the chilling silence of the night, a testament to their folly. The forgotten had risen, and their vengeance was a fury no mortal could withstand. The men were engaged in a desperate struggle for survival. The tools that they once commanded turned into makeshift weapons against them. The air was thick with an atmosphere of dread and suspense. Each breath, every heartbeat echoed with the chilling cries of the unrested dead, relentless in their pursuit of vengeance. The chilling wind bore the whispers of the forgotten, and the ground beneath seemed to pulsate with their fury. Every second was a battle, every moment a test of their will. The spirits, once peaceful in their eternal slumber, now roamed with a terrifying rage, their spectral forms swirling around the living like a tempest. But as the showdown reached its peak, the first light of dawn began to break. The sun peeked over the horizon, casting long shadows over the battlefield of man and ghost. The morning sun shone brightly over the construction site, a stark contrast to the night's horrors. The once bustling hive of activity now lay eerily silent, a mute testament to the spectral battle of the night before. The crew, their faces etched with the raw relief of survival, gathered their belongings, their once mighty machines of progress now abandoned, silent monuments to their folly. A shared, unspoken agreement passed between them, a pact sealed with regret. No more would they disturb the sanctity of the forgotten, the resting place of the dead. No more would they trifle with the unseen forces that lurk in the shadows of history. As they filed out, a collective sigh of relief echoed through the still air. Their footprints, a fleeting memoir of their intrusion, slowly faded in the dust of the abandoned construction site. As they left the cursed grounds, a chilling whisper followed them. Rest in peace, we shall, but remember, we never forget.